Rent a Girlfriend, a recap. Episode 1. After 1 month of dating, Kinoshita Kazuya is dumped by his girlfriend Nanami Mami. In his apartment, the boy finds himself sulking over the situation. Mami was his first ever girlfriend. With her departure, Kazuya can't stand being by himself. With his heart broken and no one around to offer support, Kazuya is driven to a very low point. Kazuya is more than heartbroken, he is lonely and depressed. His attitude throughout the entirety of his life has been that of an introvert. He was and still is just a teen brimming with hormones, and getting dumped at a time like this further plunged him into the depths of despair. For him, the majority of his existence has revolved around women. His desperate thirst for feminine touch finally felt fulfilled when Mami came into his life. Sadly though, it wasn't meant to be. This is his hero's journey. His journey from a desperate little brat to something better, someone better. While feeling the intense loneliness of his situation, he comes across a website for rental girlfriends. This proves his call to adventure. He hires a girl, Chizuru. The first date went really well. She has Kazuya, after a very long time, feeling like a man. He feels as if, amidst the despair he's fallen into, he may have a chance with her, or so he thought. This shows the yearning he has for a partner. A boy like him, who girls usually avoid, witnessed firsthand the joy of having such an innocent girl by his side. After their date, though, Kazuya gets quite upset to find that Chizuru acts the way she did with all her clients. Annoyed, he hires her for another date. This time, Kazuya acts quite cold towards Chizuru. While visiting an aquarium, he finally asks her how she can date men so casually. To Kazuya, that's exactly what Mami did to him. Hearing this, Chizuru drags him to a private spot and retaliates. Between his attitude and his words, she's quite annoyed since he hired her knowing it's just her job. Realizing he's in the wrong, Kazuya apologizes. He's realized his mistake for comparing Chizuru to Mami. This was a very desperate attempt to attack her, to make her feel bad, knowing full well that it's all fake to begin with. This realization showed Kazuya everything wrong with his mentality. It wasn't his place to wrongfully try to belittle someone, given that he too was in it for something. He wanted to forget his loneliness for a while, and it worked. Right then, he receives a call saying his grandmother has been taken to the hospital. Since their date was still ongoing, Chizuru ended up tagging along with Kazuya to the hospital. There, they find his grandmother completely fine. When his family asks who Chizuru is, Kazuya panics and calls her his girlfriend. His family, especially his grandmother, are ecstatic at the news. Luckily, Chizuru goes along with Kazuya's lie for now. Witnessing his family's joy upon seeing him with a girl after a very long time, Kazuya couldn't bring himself to tell the truth. He didn't want his parents and grandma to worry about their boy. The sheer panic in that moment caused him to lie about his relationship situation. This also showed how much he cared about his reputation. It was his insecurity about acquiring a partner that frightened him. He couldn't bear for his family to see the miserable state he was in. After their time at the hospital, the pretend couple sits on a bench outside. Here, Kazuya explains how much his grandmother sacrificed for the family, and that her only wish is to see Kazuya married before she passes. In his desire to make her happy, he blurted out that Chizuru was his girlfriend, but he'll tell his grandmother everything so she won't have to act. As she leaves, Chizuru tells him that he's welcome to call on her as a rental girlfriend in the future, but turning away, Kazuya makes a decision. He'll never hire a rental girlfriend again. This further clarifies Kazuya's love towards his family. He can't bring himself to let his grandma know his sorry state, but at the same time, he refuses his call to adventure. He refuses to let it all be a lie, that this is not what he wants to be. He may remain lonely, but that doesn't trump the guilt he'll have by lying to his family. The boy is ready to face reality. Kazuya loves his grandmother the most. She is the only one who, despite his lack of personality, has loved him the same. So for a moment, he slipped at the thought of disappointing her. But is this who he is? Will he forever remain that desperate boy, or is it due time for him to improve? It's time to better himself and stop living a lie. Episode 2. Or not. The next day, a surge of emotions, mainly shock, rushes through the two as Kazuya runs into Chizuru at his university. She's a student here. Given the changed circumstances, she strictly prohibits him from hiring her again. But they're also apartment neighbors. That night, Kazuya's grandmother calls and tells him she's visiting. So Kazuya begs Chizuru to pretend to be his girlfriend once more, but she refuses. Kazuya finally prepares to confess the truth. Luckily, Chizuru enters at the last moment. She's decided to help him out after all. Through her actions and his interactions with her, Kazuya realizes that Chizuru, even if she's only pretending, is an amazing girlfriend. Kazuya feels a surge of happiness while witnessing such a beautiful girl in his presence. He can't help but imagine her as his actual girlfriend. Even though it's all fake, there's still this glimmer of hope in Kazuya's heart that maybe, just maybe, it can turn into something real. To Kazuya, who has only experienced the cold and distant mommy, this is a whole new thing. He can't believe how amazing dating can be, how great a relationship can truly feel. Thanks to Chizuru, he's learning of a completely different world. She's his supernatural aid. After his grandma leaves, Chizuru tells Kazuya that he can only hire her every week to meet his grandmother. She'll help him with his situation and, in the process, teach him what a beautiful thing love can really be. They finally cross the first threshold when, after a weekly meeting with Kazuya's grandma, he and Chizuru end up running into his friends from uni. They forcefully take Kazuya and Chizuru drinking. At the restaurant where their group is sitting, they find Mommy present too. Seeing Mommy after so long rushes Kazuya's mind with their past memories, how their relationship started, how he fell in love with her, and how she mercilessly dumped him. For a guy as fragile as Kazuya, seeing his ex like that makes him feel very uncomfortable. His excitement from having his friends see him with such a gorgeous lady, let alone think she's his girlfriend, quickly fades into a moment of despair. He instantly loses his will to fight. As expected, while the group relaxes, Mommy spends her entire time saying things that make Kazuya miserable. From claiming she has a hot new boyfriend to saying that she's moved on, every word that comes out of her mouth sends him further into depression. But Chizuru can't handle it when Mommy downright disrespects Kazuya. She stands up for him, but by then, Kazuya's spirit is so crushed that he tells her to leave it. Angered, Chizuru storms off. Kazuya felt sad to see the woman he loved boast about another man. It hurt him to see the woman he planned his life with to so easily replace him. Such was the state of that boy who loved someone with all his heart, who gave his all to his first ever relationship, but the burden of rejection proved far too heavier for him to handle. Later, Kazuya ends up talking with Mommy outside a vending machine. Here, Mommy tries to badmouth Chizuru, but this time Kazuya doesn't tolerate it. She can talk about him all she wants, but she's no one to disrespect Chizuru. This displayed the special place Chizuru held in his heart. Even for Kazuya, who had never talked back to Mommy like that, it came as a surprise. Why would he stand up for someone who doesn't even love him? Maybe Chizuru was more special to him than he initially thought. This marks the beginning of some serious growth in Kazuya. Though he's not quite a man yet, he's certainly growing out of staying under Mommy's heel. And it's all thanks to the actions of the girl who taught him so much in so little time together, Chizuru. Episode 3. If only it were that easy. For poor Kazuya is plunged into the belly of the whale when he, along with his friends, head to a beach trip. Chizuru is also there with her own friends. To not get found out, she quickly gets into her rental girlfriend's disguise and joins his group. Out in the ocean, Kazuya notices people ogling Chizuru. This causes him to get jealous, but then again, he can't stop them from staring at a girl like Chizuru. He feels pathetic knowing how amazing she is. That if this wasn't her job, she'd probably never even talk to him. Kazuya's conscience is very double-minded at this point. He has a most gorgeous woman so close to him, yet so far away. If only he could have Chizuru reciprocate the feelings that he has for her. Maybe then this constant longing that he feels may halt. That is when he stumbles onto Mommy. Out of nowhere, the girl leaps on Kazuya and brings him in for a kiss. Episode 4. Mommy's sudden kiss reminds Kazuya of all the good times he had with her. Now at a dead end, he has to choose, get his girlfriend back or pursue Chizuru. So after careful consideration, Kazuya tells the group he and Chizuru are breaking up. Seeing the chaotic turn of events, Kazuya had to take a stand. Whether it was right or not, that's debatable. For the sake of his chance with Mommy, for the sake of not lying to his grandmother anymore, and for Chizuru herself, he finally came clean, sort of. It was time Kazuya put his foot down. How long could he swing between Mommy and Chizuru? He had to choose one. He could chase after the girl who had no feelings for him, or he could settle for his ex. Sadly, he chose the easy route. Chizuru tells Kazuya he did nothing wrong. In fact, he seemed quite manly when he stood by his decision. Later, the two end up on a ferry ride because of an intervention from his friend Kaibe. He got them tickets as one final attempt to help them make up. On the ferry, Kazuya firmly tells Chizuru that he'll end this whole farce. That is when Mami calls, and just as Kazuya steps away to attend it, Chizuru ends up falling overboard. Seeing this, he moves without a second thought. He drops the phone with Mami still on and leaps right off after Chizuru. Without a moment's hesitation, Kazuya jumped to save Chizuru. This act displays that no matter how much he denies, Kazuya still has feelings for Chizuru. He can't leave her for someone like Mami, who humiliated him in front of his friends. His heart still desires that wholesome, innocent girl. It seems his heart knows what's best for him. For a man as unsure as Kazuya, only love could make him jump overboard like that. Maybe what he told his friends wasn't the whole truth. Maybe he was only trying to fool himself. Episode 5. Jumping after her, Kazuya saves Chizuru and drags her to shore. However, in the process, ends up taking in a lot of water and falls unconscious. Seeing this, Chizuru performs CPR on the boy and wakes him up right as her lips leave his. The next day, in his apartment, Kazuya ponders on everything that's happened. He realizes that he still can't get over Chizuru. By now, he has realized that Mami isn't the only one in his heart anymore. If anything, when he thinks of the one he has feelings for, Chizuru comes to mind before anyone else. He's fallen in love with her, but this realization also comes with the depressed thought that Chizuru would never feel the same way. She's way out of his league. Kazuya, ever since Mami returned, has been trapped in this inner battle of desire. Time after time, he keeps telling himself that Mami is the logical choice, when deep down, he knows that she isn't. Mami wasn't the one who stood up for him. She wasn't the one who pulled him out of his depressed state. It was Chizuru. It was Chizuru all along. Some days later, Kazuya's grandmother takes him to a resort, but it's a plan between her and her friend, Chizuru's grandmother, to bring the two close. They've tricked Chizuru and Kazuya into sharing a room. Wanting to be considerate, he tells her he'll sleep by the bathroom. To his shock, Chizuru tells him they can sleep together. This obviously comes as a shocker, especially to Kazuya, who has never been so close to a woman, and to think he'll be sleeping in the same room as one. This must be the most excited he's ever been. For a man like Kazuya, this is an opportunity of a lifetime, yet displaying his growth, he clearly offers to sleep by the bathroom to make her feel comfortable. Such a gentleman he's become. It wasn't long when, as desperate and needy as he was, Kazuya would kill for an opportunity like this. But he's not the boy he once was. Sharing moments with a woman as mature as Chizuru has left its imprint on Kazuya as well. He's turning out to be a polished young man. Episode 6. While lying in the dark, Kazuya stews over his feelings for Chizuru. Turning her away, he asks if he can continue renting her. To his surprise, she accepts. This acceptance was clearly the least expected. Nonetheless, Kazuya has gotten himself some more time with Chizuru. Maybe it's fate that keeps bringing the two ever closer to each other. Whatever it is, it sure is generous these days. Kazuya can't keep himself from coming closer to Chizuru. When he's with her, he truly feels like he could be better, like he can become someone worth being with. She brings out the best in him like nobody else ever has. He's only matured this much thanks to the maturity Chizuru emanates. Days later, Chizuru and Kazuya run into his friend Kyuri. To Kazuya's shock, he claims to have a girlfriend and forces both to attend a double date with them. However, panic falls when his girlfriend Ruka reveals she knows about their rental situation. In an attempt to convince her she's wrong, the two even pretend to kiss. Realizing Ruka still doesn't believe them, Chizuru leaves the first chance she gets. Meanwhile, Kazuya sticks with Ruka and Kyuri. The kiss leaves Kazuya practically broken from how fast his heart is racing. True, he's kissed Mami before, but Chizuru's is another deal. She's the one he truly loves. And though the act may be fake, the feelings can't be. Despite the panic-stricken situation, this moment proved a blessing in disguise, for it was a moment of utter happiness for Kazuya. He came in intimate proximity to the woman of his dreams, yet a problem still remained. After Kyuri leaves, Kazuya runs after Ruka at the subway. Turning a corner, he's surprised to find Ruka waiting for him. Episode 7. The situation turns uglier when Ruka reveals that she too is a rental girlfriend. There's a sense of relief, followed by concern for Kyuri. And as concerned, the next day, Ruka confesses before Kyuri that he was renting her. And as for Kazuya, Ruka places a condition for keeping the secret he and Chizuru share. she asks Kazuya to date her. His heart drops when she asks this of him. Only a few days ago, he was lonely and depressed, spending his days sulking upon his life, but now he has 3 potential partners. He has a woman confessing to him. Yet even to his own shock, he doesn't want to accept. All his life he's dreamt of a moment like this, yet something isn't right. For a boy who would die to have an actual girlfriend, he isn't overjoyed. Maybe in his heart resides another maiden. It's Chizuru, who he has come to love and admire. Nothing can now take her place. So Kazuya tells Ruka he can't. For one, he can't betray Kiri in such a manner, and for another, he's fully fallen for Chizuru at this point. Ruka starts crying at how determined Kazuya is to refuse her, so ultimately, he accepts. Episode 8. But despite this, the sense of emptiness in his heart only feels complete when he thinks of Chizuru. Despite having accepted the forced confession, he can't accept Ruka with his heart, for his heart belongs to Chizuru and her only. Ruka, as gorgeous as she is, isn't Chizuru. She isn't the one who made Kazuya feel special when no one else helped him. She isn't the one who helped keep his grandmother happy. For Kazuya, it wasn't about appearances anymore, it was about the value Chizuru brought that trumped her over all others. Nothing could change his feelings for her. On Christmas Eve, Kazuya accidentally spots Chizuru with another man. Despite never having met the boy, seeing him with Chizuru erupts a sense of jealousy towards him. This ultimately turns out to be a false alarm. The man is Chizuru's friend from acting school. She's an aspiring actress. After Chizuru's friend leaves, Kazuya apologizes for jumping to conclusions. He wanted to look out for her but completely violated her privacy. This shows that Kazuya is still scared from his past relationships, and seeing Chizuru with another man triggered those memories, causing an immediate reaction of jealousy towards the man. When in reality, the situation was entirely different. It was Kazuya's insecurities that prompted him to react in this manner. To him, another man was a threat to all that he has built till now. He couldn't care to lose Chizuru after all that they have been through. Moved by his growth and concern, Chizuru admits that she was out tonight to pick out a gift for someone. She gifts Kazuya a phone case. Episode 9. After a meeting with Chizuru, Kazuya is found by Ruka, who yells that he's cheating on her. As a repayment, she tricks Kazuya into going to a love hotel. The lewd actions that Ruka expresses there has Kazuya fighting his nerve to keep calm. Fighting off these temptations, Kazuya turns Ruka down. Kazuya fighting these temptations is a testament that his affection towards Chizuru isn't just physical. Ruka could have all the looks in the world, but she hasn't built the same base as Chizuru. She hasn't been with him long enough for him to love her. For a man who has never even touched a woman, this was the ultimate jackpot. Any other day he would have slipped, but not today, for in his heart resides another woman, a woman he has come to feel affection for. Episode 10. One night, Chizuru contacts Kazuya. While speaking of their personal lives, Kazuya admits he's not even sure he has feelings for Mami anymore. After assuring him that she'll be there for him till he can forget Mami, Chizuru asks for a favor. She wants him to go on a date with a rookie rental girlfriend who's too shy for clients. Since she trusts Kazuya, she wants him to help her practice. Kazuya, through his efforts, has gained enough trust that Chizuru let him teach her junior. Episode 11. Kazuya meets up with the girl, Sakurasawa Sumi. Throughout the day, he helps her out with what to do on a date and how to best go about it. Towards the end of their date, they run into Mami. While Kazuya is terrified of her finding out the truth, a sense of relief befalls him when she leaves without questioning or finding out the truth. At least that's what he thinks. His encounter with a girl as innocent as Sumi and how he treated her shows the growth he's achieved. Sumi was a shy little girl, but the warmth that Kazuya sent off through his kind gestures reached her, slowly but surely getting her to open up. Kazuya has always been a considerate young man, and such was his attitude towards Sumi, who through his guidance and support, bettered herself in her field. Kazuya understood her dilemma, for he too once suffered to voice his thoughts, and it was only through constantly finding himself in various situations that he overcame this hurdle. He isn't that desperate boy anymore, he's better. He's a man. Some days later, he finally speaks to Chizuru again. After thanking him for helping Sumi, she confesses she's quitting the rental girlfriend's job. Though Kazuya is heartbroken at the thought of no longer being able to rent her, he comes to a conclusion. After everything Chizuru has done for him and how amazing she is, he can't hold her back, and so he congratulates her and tells her she's got nothing to worry about. Inside though, he's a mess. Regardless of his desires, he wants her to be happy. He realizes that she owes him nothing, and how wrong would it be of him to hold her back? Hence, with a heavy heart, all he can do is wish her the very best. Upon finding himself in this situation, Kazuya did what was right. He, letting go of his own desires, found it in his heart to let Chizuru go, because it wasn't his place to ask her to stay. She had fulfilled her role with the utmost sincerity, and it was only fair that he did the same. Episode 12. Deciding to move, Kazuya decides to accept Ruka, but that day, he witnesses Mami and Chizuru entering a booth together. Concerned, he eavesdrops and hears Chizuru standing up to Mami for his sake. That night, back at their apartment building, Kazuya tells Chizuru he heard everything. As she begins apologizing for not being able to get him a girlfriend, Kazuya's lost in his own thoughts. Facing Chizuru with a resolved look, he yells out that it has to be her. She's the girl he wants. There, he said it. After all this time, Kazuya let his emotions loose. He has indeed learned and grown from his experiences. From a lust-filled teenager to a considerate, kind young man, he has come a long way, and maybe, just maybe, he's become a man worthy of Chizuru. Chizuru's smile, her laugh, her anger, her bluntness, her personality. He's fallen in love with everything about her. It has to be her. She's the only one he can accept and wants to accept. That's all for this episode of Anime Legends. We hope you enjoyed it. If you liked this video, please hit the like button and share it with your anime-loving friends. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell to stay updated on our latest releases. If you have any suggestions or feedback on how we can improve our content, please let us know in the comments section below. We're always looking for ways to make our channel better, and your input is greatly appreciated. Also, be sure to check out our other videos for more anime-related content. Thank you again for watching Anime Legends. We appreciate your support and can't wait to bring you more awesome content in the future.